All right, guys, welcome to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society live talk show. My name is Jason Snyder. I'll be your host tonight. I got my co-host with me tonight, Sophie, as always, and we have a special guest we're going to be bringing in here in the show here in just a second. But again, I'd like to welcome you guys to the show. This is live talk show episode number 50. We're getting up there. It's our 50th episode, which is pretty cool. So hope you guys are going to like the show tonight. Like I say, we got a special guest we're going to be talking with, so hang in there. It's going to be a good night. You can visit our website at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. If you have not visited our website in a while, definitely check that out, crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. You can also email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. If you have any type of location that you want us to investigate, any place that you think might have the presence of paranormal activity, whether it be a home, business, or any other location, cemetery, cave, boat, train, we'll investigate anything that might be haunted. So send us an email out there, guys, if you want us to investigate any location or know of a haunted location, or send us a message here on Facebook. Probably watching right here on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. We're also dual streaming tonight to YouTube, which is youtube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. So check us out on YouTube. If you like the YouTube platform a lot better, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can get a little better quality sometimes on YouTube. We can't do 1080 on Facebook, but you can do 1080 on YouTube, so definitely check it out. We have an Instagram also, instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters, or at Crawford County Ghost Hunters on Instagram. If you want to get on there and like our Instagram page. Phone number, as always, if you guys want to give us a call, it is 1-312-572-9811. And we probably will not answer during the show, but if you guys want to give us a call, definitely do that. Music tonight was by the Midnight Syndicate on our new opening video. All rights reserved, used with permission. You can visit their website at midnightsyndicate.com. Check them out for some cool goth style music. If you guys are into that type of thing, and Halloween style music, they've got some really cool stuff if you are into that stuff. But we are going to go right into tonight's guest, our special guest here in a minute. But how you doing tonight, Sophie?
I'm doing okay. I'm just caught up with college and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's good, finally. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw in tonight's guest. And tonight's guest, guys, is going to be Greg Koss. We're going to throw him in the mix right now. So we don't usually have three people on here, but it's pretty cool. So how you doing, Greg?
Hey, awesome, Jason, Sophie. Glad I could come on.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't had you on here for a little while, so I'm glad to have you, Greg.
That's really, really neat. That is really a good intro you got there. I really like the pictures. You know, there's some picture. There's a picture was at that one gravesite. Is that a relative of yours?
It actually was, yeah. I didn't know if anybody would notice that or not. Yeah. That's cool. You noticed that. Yeah, that was actually my mom's grave. I kind of threw that in there as a tribute to her. And
that's awesome.
You're the first one to notice it.
Yeah, that's it's really, it's really neat when somebody comes up with something, and I'm sure you put that together all yourself, correct?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it sort of defines you.
Yeah,
I think in a way.
Little Masonic imagery in there too.
Yeah, yes, there was.
So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff hidden in my intro video. Greg found some of it, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm glad you liked the video. And yeah, I've actually, just to let the people out there listening tonight, I tested positive for COVID-19, not this Saturday, but the Saturday before. Is that correct, Sophie?
Yeah, it was last Saturday when you tested positive. We were at Pine Lawn, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, somehow Sophie's good, and I am not.
That's amazing stuff. That's going on, you know.
We were right in each other's faces at one point because we were at Methodist Village, and I caught him looking at me like, we were in the dark, right? And he was looking at me like doing like bent down and like looking at me like this.
Yeah.
And like I turned around and I caught him. I went back at him. Like it was like right here in my face. And I was like right back at him. And so that would have been the moment that I think I would have caught in COVID. But I didn't because I'm a form of a demigod myself.
A demigod?
Yeah. I think she's had too many injections or vaccinations probably. You're on like number 20 now, aren't you?
I'm on my 22nd vaccination right now, all right?
That's what's wrong. You can't get it. But yeah, I just want to let everybody listen out there. Yeah, that's why we haven't been doing a lot of lives here lately. I do have COVID. I'm getting toward the end of my quarantine period where I can actually go out and do stuff now. I'm feeling good. Didn't really have any problems with it. Had a little bit of a cough. Other than that, it wasn't that bad. But luckily, Courtney got it. Sophie didn't get it. James Pinkston, one of my team members, he got it. So he's also got COVID right now. Me and James got it at the same exact time. So that was kind of weird. I mean, we had to be exposed to the same person because me and James, broke out with COVID to the exact minute. So, and we were on an investigation there at the Methodist Village the weekend previous to us catching COVID. So we got it somehow, but we're doing good. But so how you been, Greg?
Good.
Greg Koss again to the show. He's been on my show a couple times, guys. But so you want to kind of fill us in, Greg, on your team and how you got started in the paranormal world and a little background on yourself.
Okie doke. I basically started at the age of 10 at Gettysburg, and we were on a family trip. It was my father, my grandmother, me and my sister, and my uncle. And we came into the park, and literally the first stop we could make on the battlefield we did, which is, of course, everybody knows it's Reynolds Woods.
Yep.
And we both been there.
Oh yeah.
And it's a very, very cool location. It holds its significance in the war and everything else as far as that's concerned. But it was a sound of anything that can happen that you would call paranormal today, from hearing the gunshots to the cannons, to the screaming horses, and it would come in with the wind and then it would die down and it would come back with the wind again. And it went on for probably the whole entire time we were there, except for like the last 20 minutes. And we were there for over 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because we got there first thing in the morning and we didn't leave there till we were going to go get lunch.
Wow.
And I could not, for the life of me, the first time we went back, and I went back with Dale Kasmerick, I couldn't put two and two together, because what those places were like in that particular year are nothing like they look today, because today they're bringing them back the same way they were as the original battlefiels.
Yeah, I'm blowing you up while you're talking, Greg.
Yeah, that's okay.
They can't hear you, okay.
So what went on was we were leaving, and there was a park ranger there, and this is a time back then that there weren't any reenactments. This is before reenactments. So my dad approached the ranger, and they talked a little bit, and he says, this is pretty crazy. He says, we heard a whole bunch of stuff and we don't know, what was going on,
Yeah.
And they went ahead and he pretty much said, no, I didn't get any reports, he said, but he says it happens all the time. Yeah. And that's pretty much the way the conversation ended. So from that point on, I always had an interest, but back in that day, you never went ahead and told anybody any of that, because, I was promptly told by my father that I would never bring it up again, especially in the family or around other people. And, in a social setting, that it wasn't a good idea. So as it turned out, that sort of set it for me. So my interest went from there to other things as far as World War II was concerned, and all this stuff came into play later on in my pursuit as far as my mediumship and that as far as past life regressions and things of this nature, because this all ties together. I am a member of Ghost Research Society, and I'm a member of the Shadow Hunters Paranormal Investigations and Events group.
Yeah.
And on the Shadow Hunters, that's the Shadow Hour. That's my show that I have on Friday nights at 7:00 Central. So every week I try to go ahead and bring somebody that I've ran into in the paranormal that has a somewhat of the same kind of interest as I do. And I try to go ahead, and a lot of times, though, I will bring people that give a totally different perspective as far as whether it's a different twist on a technique or, where, and I think everybody in this field takes a while before they really find their own niche.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, as far as investigating is concerned, the first thing you do is you start out with like a K2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they take you to a place, and I did that with Dale, and we went to places, and my meter was the one that it would always light up. And the first time I got touched was with Dale.
Yeah.
And it was on the back of my legs, and I was in a coffee house in Crown Point. No. And I'm not going there. Jason, I gotta stay politically correct.
Okay, right? I'm sorry.
It was funny. It's just like the wet willy, Yeah. But anyway, that was at a coffee house in Crown Point, and it was a little boy. So that too fed me, it gets you rolling, it gets you involved.
Yeah.
When you think you can't get any more involved, that's when you do.
Sure. Yeah.
So you go from that, and I took a lot of pictures. There was a time that's what basically I would do when a lot of other people would do the investigations. I would do my IR camera on a tripod, and I would fan cast it. Literally, I would start shooting, and I'd shoot almost 180 degrees around me, just to see what I could catch.
That's pretty cool.
And that was now it's 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to film, and I went to IR camcorder.
Right.
And I started doing that, and we did a lot of places up in town here that were local establishments. That we had one place that was called the Terminus Theater, and it was jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Literally jumping. There was a little girl in there.
Right.
And I don't know about this little girl business, but she never changed her modus operandi. She never came out with that real deep voice, after a while, like some of the ones that come across do.
Sure.
You know where I'm going with that. And,
right.
And it because they aren't little girls or something entirely different, but they're leading you in that direction.
Yeah.
So about that same time that was all happening at the Terminus, we were already starting the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, this is something I've never done. I was never one to speak a lot. I was always close-lipped. And it brought out something in me that I was able to try to express myself and come across in terms that people would understand, because I was always vague and ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people today that do that. And it's important to try to go ahead and make that point. So from that, and that's where that show started, and like it's season 3 now.
Right. That's
to
pretty
me.
cool. Yeah.
And season 3, everything's being changed around. Nick Sarlo has changed the whole brand around pretty much, and come up with some new music, new starting parts, and it's cool.
That's pretty neat.
If I could get to the point where I could go ahead and set it up all myself, that's another thing. I'm almost there, but
yeah, people don't get to see what goes into the behind the scenes of these talk shows either. You know, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to putting on any type of show, anything like this. You know, you gotta upload a lot of stuff before it starts out, get everything ready. I mean, it's just, yeah, and you got somebody's got to be running this. I'm running it, doing the show. You know, behind the scenes. You know, just like you said, you tried. You told me earlier on when we were talking, and the first 6 shows, you kind of.
No, it was, you know, totally. I couldn't understand what was going on. And everybody that was, part of what my team was, would wait till the last minute. And I am not a wait till the last minute kind of guy. You were in the military. You know what I'm talking about. It's not last minute.
Yeah, it's like,
okay, when it's going to go down, it's last minute, but you better have your ass prepared or you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, I'm suffering from COVID-19 fog tonight.
But you know, the point is that I was so frustrated when I came on, I couldn't even frame a thought.
Yeah. Going back to that Reynolds Woods though, like that's crazy. That's one of your, you know, cool spots that really kind of got you fired up. Because I'll tell you what, when we were there, did you go with me?
No, I was watching you when you went back into the woods that night when you left the group.
Yeah, okay. Because I went over there and I investigated that Reynolds Woods area, and we got some pretty good stuff over in that area, especially where the statue of the horse is, you know, representing, you know, I guess it was Reynolds, wasn't it? I mean, that's why they named the wood after that guy, pretty much. But I heard some strange things up that trail, also, you know, just like sounds of what sounded like, you know, maybe horses and people and soldiers, and like. I definitely want to go back to Pennsylvania, the Gettysburg battlefield here soon too. We may try that this summer. Me and Sophie was talking about possibly planning a trip to Salem, Massachusetts, and maybe we can circle back around and hit all kinds of places.
Salem, Massachusetts, and the Lizzie Borden house.
You're not going to the Conjuring house?
The Conjuring house? I mean, that would be neat.
That's right there.
Is it right there?
60 miles.
How close is it?
I haven't been there. Nick was there for this last fall when they had the big conference, the Warrens conference.
Yeah.
It was this fall, and he went ahead and he was there, and they did the conference. They went to the Conjuring house, but they couldn't get in because they were filming. Oh, so they could walk around the outside, and they went somewhere else too.
Yeah, I'm having issues over here my end, guys. So keep talking if you can still hear me.
Okay, yeah, I can.
I can still hear you. Was the filming going on for the Conjuring house for the movie?
Yeah, they were. Well, no, not for the movie, but a lot of groups, when they go and investigate there, they pretty much shut it down. Because they don't need any contamination for what they're doing. So, but back to Reynolds Woods. It took me that whole first trip 3 days before I actually figured out that it was that spot that we parked when I was a kid. And what's really wild about it is, out of all those generals, the thing that I had in my head the whole entire time was the hoofs of the horse. His 2 hoofs were up off the ground. Do you remember what that meant?
The 2 hoofs up off the ground?
Do you remember what that signified?
I can't remember. I mean,
okay, well, every statue in that whole entire battlefield that has a statue of one of the commanders all had the same thing. And depending on what happened to them in the battle, if they had both hoofs on the ground, they survived. If they had one hoof up, they were wounded. And if they had both of their hoofs up, they died.
That's interesting.
So that's every one of the statues. And my favorite one was Longstreet.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'm having issues over here, Greg. I'm sorry. Computer is just going nuts trying to throw up updates or something. I couldn't see you guys for like 10 minutes.
Okay, are you back up running?
Yeah, I'm good now, I think. Sorry about that. Yep, going good now. As long as it doesn't pop back up there. Yeah, I couldn't do anything for a minute. But yeah, that whole area is pretty cool. I mean, the horses, but yeah, I didn't realize the symbolism behind that. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's pretty neat. But yeah, I think it was the Devil's Den area. That was a good place too for me in that area. I mean, we heard some strange things in like the triangle, the triangular field, I think it was. We heard some strange things in that area. Definitely a cool place to investigate.
When you were there, I think you were going down the triangular field, and did you have was it JD on the camera?
Oh, Dickerson.
Yeah, and you guys were going, and the weeds were really high.
Yeah.
And you were going down, and I kept on saying, I was writing on there the comments. I says, go to the right, because right at the tree line there was this huge.
Oh, you're right.
Granite slab that came up out of the ground, and they had boulders on the sides that were all shot up.
Yes.
That's where I sent my equipment up the night that I spent there, and Rosemary Eileen Galley and her husband were down below me.
Uh-huh.
And it got dark, and they were all around me. They came out of the woods, and it was the Confederate soldiers.
Yeah, I heard stuff everywhere too in that area. I mean, we heard like what sounded like gunshots. I even looked up like shooting ranges in the area to try to debunk it, to see, if there were any nighttime shooting ranges that somebody could be firing or something in the area. Like, and I couldn't find any nearby. I called around, because I heard, rifles going off. I heard what sounded like a cannon at one point. We heard like what sounded like a wagon in the woods. I mean, that was also the point down there near that triangular field area. I felt like something stabbed me in the rib cage, almost like a bayonet or something. I almost went to my knees, like something. It felt like some type of, I was picking up some type of energy residual thing that took place there, but like it felt like something went right through my ribs, and it was a strange experience there in Gettysburg. And yeah, I definitely want to go back sometime. We need to plan a trip, Greg.
I have this thing, where I bond with them, because we're all brothers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's the way I started to present myself.
Yeah,
with that intention,
mm-hmm.
And that's why I think they came out. But it's something people in here are probably going, "Why, this guy is just out of his mind." But it's something that when you feel it and you understand it, they're there, and they are there.
Oh yeah, there's some. Yeah, you can definitely feel it. You can feel the energy. You can feel their presence. I mean, it's a weird feeling. So, have you had any other investigations, like recent ones coming up, Greg, or anything cool on your list for this year?
We were at Randolph County, December 27th.
Oh, really?
Yes, the insane asylum, or the poorhouse, or
mm-hmm.
which was really interesting. There were a bunch of people that from different groups that we know that were all there with us, and this was all basically just me and Mike Wright and Dean Thompson from Ghost Head Soup, and people that are out west and that. And it was a lot of fun. We didn't pick up anything too much. when I first walked down the hallway, I was by myself and I was going to go back out to the car to get something out. And I just said, if anybody's here, can you knock twice for me? And sure as heck, down at the end of the hallway, there were two knocks.
Oh, that's cool.
And I went, okay, they're just trying to sucker me in, that kind of thing and it's like, you understand what's going on and everything. And so you go back and I asked one more question and then I said, can you do that again? And he didn't do it, or they didn't do it. And I just went out, got my stuff and came back in. But it would have been a very, very, very good investigation if I would have brought my cables with for my headphones, because we do a double Estes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And we do that just the same way we did it when you recorded that at Old South Pittsburgh.
Sure. Yeah.
You still got that tape?
I do. Yeah.
Do you ever listen to it again?
Yeah, I've listened to it a couple times. It's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I love that method anyway. I mean, we used it at the jail also. Sophie, I think that was her first probably experience with it, where you put the headphones on and yeah, and
I enjoyed it. I felt like I was getting sucked into a different dimension. I didn't want to take them off.
We were at the Farrar School last summer, and it was me and Mike Wright, and we were doing a double, and Kathy Para was there with us, and Barb from GRS.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting there going ahead, and we were doing the session. We do 20-minute sessions, and I was filming it, and about halfway through, I started to pick up above the white noise on my headphones. I started to pick up another line of sound, and it was like that tick, 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 like that, which is space.
Right.
When you go ahead and you watch any of those programs on TV that deal with the satellites and going to the other planets and everything, they always bring up the sound of space.
Right.
And it came across. I had heard it like a week before for our school, but it happened again. So I immediately, Michael freaks out, takes his headphones off, and you could see him on the tape where his eyes are popping out of his head because it was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because of the sound you guys were experiencing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it led us, and what I do a lot of with the ITC is asking those questions that deal with the fact of what we're really looking at. As far as the entities are concerned and what they really mean.
Right.
So in other words, is this really a ghost?
Yeah. And that's what
or is it something that came off a spaceship?
Yeah, that's what I try to tell people too with ITC and instrumental transcommunication when you're working with that, because like, just because you're having a ghost box session and you think you're communicating with something, you may be communicating with something completely different. It may not be from that area completely at all, and a lot of people try to determine that these locations, are haunted due to an ITC session or a ghost box session, when absolutely you cannot do that, because like I said, it could be a telephone to the dead. It could be a telephone to some interdimensional being. I don't know who we're communicating with half the time, but it's definitely not something you can base a haunting off of, because it's definitely you're communicating with someone, but where is it from is the question, like you're saying, what and who are we communicating with? Especially when I know what you're talking about, that sound. There's a sound that comes over these devices sometimes. It's not always there.
Right.
Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It's like sometimes you pick up the phone, it's got a dial tone, and sometimes it's dead. Like, when that dial tone's there, something's about to happen. You can hear that pinging sound in there, and like it sounds like space sounds. And if you haven't experienced it, I don't really know how to describe it to people, but it's definitely strange things I think we're communicating with through ITC sometimes. Especially it could be interdimensional beings. Sarah Estep, the founder of the American Association for Electronic Voice Phenomena, I was kind of friends with her before she passed away and everything. And They were talking, she would claim to make contact with interdimensional beings on a frequent basis through standard EVP, electronic voice phenomena. Yeah, she would have tapes, like cassette tapes, where she claims that I've actually got some of her tapes I need to go over and play on the show, that she had sent to us. And she claims to be in contact with these interdimensional beings, is how she labeled them. And what they are, I don't know. Who they are, I don't know. I mean, what is your take on that, Greg? I mean, who are these people?
Well,
where are they at?
What my questions when I approached the big guys on the round table for ITC, all the box makers, they all came up with the same conclusion. Yeah. And they all looked at each other and said, what was Frank doing when he made the Frank's box? Mm-hmm. What was he trying to communicate with?
Right.
He was communicating with aliens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's another one of these little awakening things that happens.
Yeah.
And it depends on where your heart is,
mm-hmm.
and where your mind is.
Right.
And you can take the ride if you're willing to.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound like Dennis Hopper now. Okay.
Oh, I know.
But I mean, that's where it is.
For sure.
And it's a belief. It's a way of life. It's something that takes you to another level, almost like another dimension.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to what you're doing in the boxes you're using.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you do a lot of it.
Yeah.
Sophie, what do you think about it?
About the interdimensional beings and the
about spirit boxes.
About spirit. Sorry, we went to the aliens and stuff. Spirit boxes. I enjoy them. I think it's a valid way of communications. I'm still very new to this. I've only been doing this for a couple months, so I've only had I've had quite a few spirit box sessions, but have gone very successful. But some are just meh. We've had a spirit box communication where it has spoken different languages to us.
Yeah. Languages we don't even know.
Yes.
I haven't quite heard the tick, tick, tick or anything like that, but I've heard different languages, which I thought was pretty neat.
There's a box that's coming out that's going to go ahead and play everything in reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Because a lot of times they claim that that's exactly what they're doing to you when it comes across the first time. It's backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, I've been deep into the study of reverse speech and stuff also, over the years. Yeah. It's like, I've researched everything when it comes to EVP, and ITC, and just like, the whole reverse speech thing of it just fascinates me, because if it was a ghost or spirit, for one, they say reverse speech is the subconscious mind coming out in reverse, so you can record a presidential speech and play them backwards, and supposedly you'll get the truth backwards, or maybe you didn't get all the truth forward type of a thing, or you're like certain songs, have supposedly evil or demonic meanings when played in reverse. But a lot of that stuff, they say is the subconscious mind coming out. And it's like, I got deep into the thought of, of EVP and electronic voice phenomena. If it's a subconscious mind coming out, does a ghost or spirit have a subconscious in the first place? And if they pass away, they have no body, or no mind to actually hold these thoughts and this. It makes you think on how a subconscious mind can be coming out, and it's got to be coming from somewhere else anyway, like some other dimension, some other somewhere, and that gets me into the interdimensional stuff too as well, and people's idea of heaven and hell could be completely wrong, I mean, it could be a doorway that leads into another dimension. It's not this up down heaven hell thing like people think. It's like this dimensional pathway or doorway. We can be communicating with these beings or people from other places that we couldn't otherwise. And it's like, I think we've hit on these ITC devices. I think that's kind of what they're doing, and it happened by accident in a way. I don't think people realize what they're communicating with. It's just a lot of crazy stuff I've heard come across, through ITC sessions and over the years, as far as like different languages in reverse. We played things in reverse, actually recorded things in reverse and then played it out loud so they could, maybe hear our questions better in reverse. We've done all kinds of, experiments over the years, but just anything imaginable.
I know. I know that, with Shadow Hunters, and now that we're with Paraflix, that Nick does a lot of filming at different locations, and with some of the group members, and he did one in Chicago, a place that you guys might want to go to, and it's the Museum of Torture.
Huh.
It's a torture museum in Chicago,
Sounds cool.
Downtown Chicago, and it's all the implements that were used through the centuries for torturing people.
That's pretty interesting.
And they've got these huge rooms. They even got the pendulum.
Yep.
The one with the big blade that goes back and forth. Mm-hmm. They got one of those in there. And what Nick found out, and the group found out when they were there, I didn't go, but when they went, they found out that 40% of the gear that's in there was actually used.
That was going to be my next question. Are they replicas or actual ones that were used?
So the place has some real wild energy in it.
Yeah, that would be some residual activity for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
It would drive you crazy to be in there overnight, I'm sure.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, but it's a neat location. There's a film on Paraflix now on the Shadow Hunters page that has that on there. So it's like a 20-minute video or whatever it was, but it was really cool, and he does a real fantastic job filming, and it comes out perfect.
That is cool.
Dan Norville's another group, his group is on Paraflix too now. So and he does a lot of work with the Black Hawk Wars and the Indians, and so
I've tried to stay away from Paraflix and going on there yet because I don't know. I don't know. I don't want my viewers to have to go to some special place and pay to join something different.
There's just different. It's just different ways of looking at it. Everybody's doing the same thing. It's just being approached, and either you do or you don't, or you don't want to, or you do, and
right.
Everybody's got their choice.
Right. Yeah.
Now as far as you were saying, any other investigations, I don't know right now. I imagine by March or April we'll have something going. I want to get back. I do want to go back to Randolph again.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
To be able to do the kinds of things that I wanted to do when we were there.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it means a lot. It makes my trip complete if I do it, like right. For our school.
Mm-hmm.
And Madison, when we were at Mansfield.
Yeah. Yep.
You and I, we've been running back and forth. We could have just put our arms out the windows and slapped each other going the opposite ways down the road.
I know it. Yeah, we've been all over, and probably met each other along the way.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it half the time.
You better get ready, Sophie. Put on your traveling clothes.
I love to travel.
Yeah.
I'd love to travel. I'm excited to travel. Like I said, we're going to Massachusetts, hopefully this spring or summer. So.
Yeah.
Nicholas is talking about going back up there too.
Yeah, maybe Greg too. If you get time, come down our way. We can show you a few places around here too. I've been trying.
Believe it or not.
Right.
I wasn't really game for when you guys did that 15-degree thing.
Yeah, not many people were.
And I could have came down. I have a duck suit So I've
Yeah,
got
duck
I've got bibs like you got, and I've got a big parka. I'd be warm as a little baby in a cradle.
Yeah.
With no
Yeah,
problem at all.
if I'm in my camouflage, it's cold.
Well, that's what we did the Pontiac, or excuse me, Joliet prison. So we did that in December, and I actually had it on that night because it was so friggin' cold in there. And that's where Joliet Jake comes from, Yeah. That's where they filmed the Blues Brothers. So
guys, I have to go get my charger real quick.
Okay.
My iPad's almost going dead. I'm gonna put this up that way you guys don't have to see my dirty kitchen.
Yeah, you're fine. Let's try to read some questions and comments too, guys. If you guys have any questions or comments for Greg, tonight's guest, definitely throw them out there, and I will try to ask him. I'm looking back through.
Crap! How many comments do we got in here? This is a whole book.
We got quite a few. I'm scrolling back through them right now.
Joshua Dixon's on here.
Yeah.
He's no relation, is he?
Oh, no. Said he likes the intro. Let's see here. Becky said she wants to visit Gettysburg. Its history calls to me, definitely. Try to go back through your comments, guys, and read them real quick.
Nick Sarlo's on here. He says everything's extremely close by.
Diana says, I love that he isn't afraid to explore it all and keeps his mind so open. He's the real deal. Probably talking about the stuff we were talking about. Jack, you guys have any questions? Oh, here we go. Here's one from Joshua. Greg, were you ever attacked by a violent entity?
No, they were friendly.
They were friendly? Yeah. You've been attacked
It wasn't one of those. No, it wasn't one of those. No. I've been touched. They grabbed my hands when we were at Post Town this last fall. The kids came up and grabbed, I was walking, I had my hands down, and Sharon was next to me. Sharon Moritz?
Yeah.
Sharon and I were walking, and they came up and they grabbed my hand on the outside, and she was on that side, and they grabbed her left hand on that side, and they just grabbed the two fingers like a little kid would on an adult's hand. And you had the cold and you had the charge, and we just walked along, and I just talked with them.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we got to where we were going, and they just went and they were gone.
Right.
I feel like holding hands is the best way to earn trust. Whenever I ask an entity to hold my hand, I just basically am asking for their trust, and I think they feel that energy.
They can tell by your voice, and you have one of those voices that you'd have them coming up and taking candy from you if you had it.
I try to be as calm as I possibly can when communicating with them, and try to give them this trusting, because I can understand maybe that they can be intimidated by the machines that we're using, the technology that we're using. And so I always make sure to touch the technology and say, hey, if it's going to hurt anybody, it's going to hurt me.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And it's the perception and your intention on your end of what you want to do, how you want to accomplish it. There's tons of times that you can be in a situation, and if you go in there with love and light and you explain all that to them right off the bat,
for
they'll be very comfortable with you.
Yeah. And
I try to see it as kind of like making friends, making friends with them and being friendly with them and making it known that I'm familiar with them and I recognize them.
It is awesome.
Here's another question, Greg. What is the most obvious encounter that was documented as a real encounter? Not sure what she's meaning by that. What is the most obvious encounter that was documented as a real encounter? I don't really know what she means by that.
Is that like a close encounter?
I'm not sure what she's really meaning by that. She's also saying, have you ever run into spirits in the water?
I've had spirits when I was on the water.
Yeah.
On top of an island.
Yeah, you've got a lot more water up your way. You do a lot of fishing and stuff too, don't you?
Yeah. That's there's actually a page that I have that I haven't done anything in the last 3 years on, that was created by Chuck Williams.
Yeah.
For me, that's called The Paranormal Fisherman.
I remember that. Yep.
And I haven't done anything with it.
Right.
But it's like I'm really looking into that right now. I'm thinking that this year I want to go back to doing what I did. But the thing that I wanted to bring up on your show that I think is of vital importance, like what you guys see down by you.
Right.
And I don't see that. I see buildings close around here. They don't tear them down. But my family has been going to a resort in northern Wisconsin for over 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've been there over 50. Fishing, muskie fishing ever since I was a kid.
Right.
And somebody's buying the property. Okay. The guy that owned it all, there is a big lodge on it. And I have a spirit there whose name is Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And he happens to be the guy that built the lodge. And it's a big fieldstone log cabin, beautiful, 1880, 89 or 90, something like that, was when it was built. The Chicago Northwestern Railroad tracks ended in Star Lake, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
This is south of Boulder and south of Manitowish Waters, northeast of Minocqua.
Okay.
And this guy's buying the property, and the rumor has it that he's going to tear down that lodge. And I talk with Harry every summer. I go up there, and I'll go in the lodge, and I'll bring my gear in with me. Last year I had my middle son filming me when I did an Estes method in there.
Yeah.
And all that, I do it every year. And, parts of the family, okay, Greg's doing his, crazy stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I don't really care, but most of them are very supportive. And I just think I can't believe this guy's going to do it. And, there's preservation, when they talk about historical places, and the same thing's going on with Waverly right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And
yep.
And you just can't figure these people out. And it's like, what in heaven's name?
I know. Yeah.
For money?
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into Waverly. That place. Oh my God, it made me
mad. Your comments I took to heart.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one place I haven't been to.
Right.
Why, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a big disappointment to me for sure. I mean, just them trying to make everything paranormal, and like it was not good.
Look how big of a building it is.
Oh yeah.
And you go there, what do you think they do if they don't? Once again, you're one of 5,000 people that comes through their building.
Right.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
You're going to go as far away as you possibly can because you're done listening to it.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So, I mean, in defense of what you were talking about, I would say that would be my explanation for that.
Sure.
Not that it is it's not haunted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Do you think spirits can feel exploitation?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
They know what you're thinking. I don't have a shadow of doubt that they do that.
Yeah.
You know, how come when you go into a place and you go in there and you have all your equipment, you just charged everything up and you go in there and you sit down, they have the biggest laugh of their life when you go ahead and start pulling out gear and nothing's charged. Your batteries are all dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a comedian, you know, it's a comical act. You know, and you know that they have senses of humor. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's something I've gathered since my first investigation at the jail. So it was the first time that I did the headphones on with the ghost box, and they asked Jason, I guess, had asked, "What is your name?" or "Who is in here with us?" And it said Sophie. And I remember I was discussing with my husband about it, and he was just like, because he's a skeptic. He was just like, if these spirits are real, he said, they're jokesters. He was just like, because that response to that was almost like saying, "What's up?" and then somebody replying the sky.
Right. Yeah.
I've also had I think I've had ghosts have crushes on me.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would they do that, Sophie?
They're in love with me. I've got like 12 ghost boyfriends there in my house. They come home with me, and then they come home.
Don't say.
They come home with me. They see me crawling in bed with my husband, and they're like, "I want to ride home. Take me back to the graveyard. I want to go back."
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, "No, you have to stay here with me."
The best place to see spirits with a sense of humor, to me, is in the theaters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you went out to the Egyptian theater in DeKalb, that place has two of them in there that are absolute 100% comedians.
Yeah. I'm reading the comments. Sorry.
That's okay.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Here's that one rephrased, I guess, Greg, there for you. I'm sorry, worded it silly. What was your most, oh my God, encounter? This is real, is what she's, I guess,
it's the middle of the summertime. I had shorts and flip flops on, and I was sitting at a chair, and it was at the Sip Coffee House. And we had everybody that was in the circle. Most of the people had K2s or, a temperature gauge or something. It was in the beginning. And I started asking these questions, and it was a little boy who had said they caught on the spirit box in the back that he was looking for his dad. So for some ungodly reason, he picked me like his father. Right. So I said, all of a sudden, my red lights came on, and I'm going, wow, I've never seen red lights like this come on. And I'm talking, and all of a sudden, he started down at like behind my ankles and came up the back of my legs about a strip about this wide. So it was equal to what his hand would be. Right. And came up both of my legs like this slowly. And I said, I kept on, is this you? If it's you, can you light up 3 lights? And he lights up 3 lights. And everybody was sitting there like, whoa. And I says, you're not going to believe this, but right now this guy's he's on the back of my legs and he's working up my legs. Yeah. He didn't come all the way up to my neck. Yeah. He stopped about halfway up my back. But his hands actually, I could feel them come together off my butt and come up like this and come up my back.
That's weird.
So I mean that was, and that I was almost brand new. Right. So that's the kind of thing that sells you.
Oh yeah,
whether,
for sure.
whether you want to buy or not.
Yeah, that
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think so. I think Jason and I, or at least I, was completely sold after we talked about this last talk show, but we had went into Pine Lawn a couple weeks ago and we had heard a man groaning, the death rattle of some type, and that was the first. Oh my God, this is happening. There's no way that this is not, like something else. This is real. That is my first, like, oh my God,
right
moment.
We did a mediumship thing, and with my mediumship, and we were at Old Baraboo Inn up in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and I was with my mentor Scotty Rourke, and we're down in the basement, and there's this room where they used to take people in there and torture them and get rid of them. Uh-huh. And he says, "Come on in here, tell me what you think." And I walked in the room, and I could feel three guys on my right hand side. One of them was still alive, and then there's one on the left hand side, and he was laying there, and he was gurgling like somebody just stepped on his throat or slit it, one of the two.
Yeah.
And I could hear the gurgling, the same way you were talking about, Sophie. Mm-hmm. So, and
it's terrifying. And honestly, I couldn't go back. I remember me and Jason, we had gone back on New Year's, and I was too traumatized to go back in because, we've both heard a death rattle. Me and Jason both have heard a death rattle, and that was a man suffering and dying very slowly. And it was traumatizing, Yeah. I was hearing somebody die, and it was helpless. I couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing we could do about it. And even Jason went in, and I told Jason, I was like, whatever's behind that door ain't no good, right? And because I knew it wasn't real. I knew it was real, but I just knew that something, like, it was a residual thing, or even maybe an intelligent thing trying to tell us, like, hey, this is what happened to us, by the way,
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, me and Jason and I were about to leave, and Jason had an idea. Well, why don't we come in, leave your EVP recorder in the hallway, and walk out the other way? Well, we went in one way. We started walking towards, the exit. I started to set my recorder down on one of the walkers. And then Jason, out of everybody, all right, usually I'm the one that's like, let's get out of here. Jason, out of everybody, we were hearing like this wooing guy, and Jason said,
"It was bad.
It's following us," and he said, "Let's get the F out of here. Let's get the F out of here."
What was that?
So we're like run walking, and you can hear it in the recording, right? We're like walking fast.
It's like out of the first Ghost Hunters episode when whatchamacallit says, "Run, dude, run!"
Yeah.
We're like, run! We have to get out of here. And we had been there. We were there from, I have to believe, 1:30 in the morning to about 5 in the morning, and we had heard like the groaning at the beginning of the night, and then some people had left, and then it was just me and Jason and I were sitting in the hallway, and we were hearing like some things, could be debunked or not, but that was something that we tried our best. We were trying to come up with explanations. I was just like, it might be a coyote. Jason was like, that's not a coyote. That's not a coyote.
Definitely wasn't.
When the groaning was happening, I was thinking, okay, maybe it's the wind, right? And then we had went actually outside first thing, and there was no wind. It was actually like still outside.
Yeah.
And so we went back in, and that's when we were about to set the recorder down. And then Jason was like, it's following us. He's like, we have to leave. Because it's almost like it knew what we were going to do because it was sitting at the other exit that we were going to go out of, as if it wanted to surprise us, like, and I'm new to this. I didn't want to be traumatized just yet. So I was just like,
sorry.
He's just intimidating you. That's all he was doing.
I know. and that's something I was explaining to one of my friends is so she had messaged me and she said, hey, this ghost box has been saying some concerning things. And I said, sometimes you have to understand that they purposely will try to frighten you because they get a power drive out of it.
Well, either that or they got a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
One or the other, yeah.
That's another thing is that, you know, they could, because I know for a fact, I've said multiple times, when I die and I become a spirit, I'm going to scare the hell out of people. I'm going to frighten people, especially if you make me a legend. I will make that legend come true. Trust me, honey.
You're never going to be like that. Your heart's too big.
Maybe. I don't know. I've got a dark side to me.
No,
a side that's kind of a
please. Powder puff. You're a little kid.
The powder puff.
You're like my granddaughter.
Powder puff. She's crying now.
No, she's not. Don't you cry, Sophie. Oh, she sheds tears for compassion, right? I'm supposed to feel guilty.
He called me a powder puff.
No, it was a term of endearment. Take it that way.
I'll take it. But yet next time on my name tag, instead of Sophie, just put powder puff.
That's funny.
Just as long as when we first meet, you don't kick me in the shins, okay?
I will not kick you in the shins. I will give you a big hug. I'll give you a big hug and a shake and say, nice to meet you, Greg.
And Jason will be on the side getting ready to give me a wet willy.
Probably. It's hard telling me.
I couldn't believe. I'm sorry I put that on there that one show because it was like, what are you doing? I was looking at what I put on there and I went, I think I need to take that off.
That was funny. No, that was pretty funny.
Before somebody sees it, you know.
No, it was fine.
What was it?
Becky, though, she had a good comment when we were back talking about some of that stuff. Said spirits aren't trained monkeys, you know, they're just people without bodies and need to be treated with respect. And that's true. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how many times do we go in, you know, and these spirits and ghosts are just tired of us being there, you know, it's just like, oh, here they are again, wanting us to perform like, you know, some type of circus act. And I think that's a big thing, too, you know, the way we treat them and try to treat them with respect and not ask the same questions over and over and over again because they get the same questions, just like people at Waverly.
Let's see. Do you know what this is?
The ghost box? Or?
Yeah, but it's a nanocom.
Yeah.
It's a nanocom. This is supposed to be a nanocom S, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's their new one.
Okay.
And this is from Supernatural Inc., and that's Katie Stafford and Katie.
Okay.
And I just got this off them, and
I'm gonna put you up there on the solo layout so you can kind of show that, Greg, so people can see it better. There we go.
And I'm not going to turn it on in here. I did it the other night just to set the intention on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not the kind of guy that wants to do this in my own house.
Okay.
But this is a very nice piece of equipment, and he's got nanocoms, and he also has a coffin box.
Okay.
And they all have different features, and they have different sweeps, and they have hesitation modes on them where if you do go ahead and come onto a particular area on the EMF on the radio wave or radio station, that it will concentrate on that one.
Okay.
So and they're really, you know, I've had a lot of great fun with my other one, and this one just with the intention the other night, I had 4 different words and I had one name. So
okay, and you just got that one?
Yeah, I just got this last Friday.
Okay, you have to let me know how that works for you.
Oh,
you don't like using it at home, you say?
Not in here.
No. Okay,
because I have grandkids.
Maybe some night we can do or you can go live from somewhere else and we can do like a live ghost box session over the air or something.
What we need to do, and I'm going to do this with Greg Bakken, and he's with Minnesota Ghost Box.
Yeah.
And I watch his show all the time on Sunday nights at 10.
Yeah.
I want to do a double Estes.
You could over the air.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Using the cable basically for the antenna.
Yeah. Yep. That would be cool. Yeah, I thought about doing some live ghost box sessions for a show or something to see what we could get, some ITC sessions and different things.
You know, when Connor and Carl came up with after they developed the Estes, they had the one show on, and I think they were out in Maine with that Haunt Maine, HAUNTME. It was like Haunt Me, but it's Haunt Maine. And they had it on there where they had to have a transmitter that was transmitting the spirit box on the one end to a pickup on the other end, so that they would be connected that way.
Right.
And I thought that was a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's some stuff I want to try too. Like, there's a lot of boxes I've got here I haven't even used yet. Some of them I've made, and some of them a guy from up in Canada made.
Look at this one.
I've seen that before.
It's like it's a retro box.
Yep.
And this is the one where it has a built-in sweep on it, so that when you take the radio dial, all you have to do is from where it's set, you just bring it up a hair, and then you put your sweep on, and it actually sweeps back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a real cool box too. That's from them too out there.
Is it
down in Missouri there?
Okay.
It'd probably take you 40 minutes to go to their house.
Probably. I don't know. Yeah.
But
what part are they in?
I think they're in Missouri.
Which,
St. Louis area.
St. Louis area?
I think it's subdivision, a suburb of it.
Yeah, it'd be about a little over 2 hours for me.
Yeah, Katie's a marvelous lady. She's a medium. KD's, Army vet, does all his own boxes. He's part of that group with the Hulties, and who else? There's a couple different ones. Austin Maynard is another one that builds boxes.
Right. Yeah.
And they all have their interpretation of what a box needs.
Right.
As far as the different ways of doing it and sweeping and.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain to Sophie there, because she bought her first ghost box. She bought one online here a while back, and I'm going to make her one too. But I try to tell her, all these ghost boxes have their own distinct signature in the way they do things. Like some of them sound different than others. Some are louder, some are quiet. Some you don't get all the background static and noise. Some just pops words through. It's like each one of them has its own individual personality almost.
Yes.
Mine's quiet.
Yeah.
What kind did you get?
Let me get it real quick.
Is it an SB7 or?
No, it's a Shack Hack version. I think it's one of the Shack Hacks. I can't remember what model it is.
Wow.
But it's worked pretty good. We've had some pretty crazy stuff come across it. But it's a quiet one, it's not as loud as some of them.
Wow.
But,
what is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
What model is that one? Does it say, Sophie, on the back what Radio Shack model that is?
12797.
12797.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you find that?
No, better yet, this is the category number.
Yeah. I told her I was jealous when she got it because she found it. Didn't you get it off eBay or?
Mm-hmm. I got it off eBay.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to find the old Shack Hack ones now like that.
Now you understand when you got that, what you have to do with it in the beginning to make sure that the spirits understand who that belongs to, right?
She has no clue.
No, I was never. Thanks, Jason. What am I supposed to do?
No. Listen for a second.
Okay.
There's a guy from the south side or from the north part of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Jeff Resman. He is another one of the guys from the original group of the people that did all the ITC work, Spirit Box work, when it was just the Spirit Box. And I was going to be speaking at the Chicago Ghost Con on the Estes method. And I was outside of the big speaking hall, and I was getting myself ready out there. And out of nowhere, this guy comes up to me and goes ahead and says, "Hey, what are you doing there? What are you doing with that Spirit Box?" I said, "Well, I'm going to be speaking on the Estes method." And he looks at me, he goes, and I says, "I'm Greg." And he goes, "I'm Jeff." And he says, "This is your box?" And I says, "Yeah, well, it's a SP7. Yeah." "No, is this your box?" And I said, I was confused. There has never been a time in my whole entire life where something meant as much as what he told me then, where he went ahead and he said, "That is your box. Just like you have your phone,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't give this to anybody else to use. This is your, like the old, this is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine."
Yeah. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
The same thing. And you have to talk to it. And then you have to have your guides there to help you keep the room clean. That your intention is nothing of love and light. You want nothing but good spirits to come to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing of the other side at all. They're not welcome, period. Right. And you make your bubble up for protection and say, "Now this is mine." And you call your guides in, whatever their names are, and you say, "Okay, this is my box, and you're here to protect me with it." And they will watch the room, and they will keep you safe. And that's what's important, because you can't afford to be swayed by something that's going to come across, misnomered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do agree, and that makes a lot of sense considering the fact, like, okay, this is my person. This is my person. I'm allowing you to use this as a form of communication. So if you're going to communicate with me, communicate with me correctly. Nicely, right. Be kind, because I'm being kind enough to, because these are human beings, like, these not human beings, but these are people without bodies, Nonetheless, you do have to lay down your boundaries. And I do agree with that 100%. You have to lay down your boundaries and say, "Hey, I'm being kind to you. Please, if you're going to communicate, show kindness to me."
Because they're going to go ahead and they're going to call you one of these days, and you're going to have your spirit box, and it's Joe Blow's going to pick it up, and they're going to go, "Wait a minute, something's not right here. That's not," and then they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bruce Holiday is the other one that I was thinking of earlier that does a lot of unbelievable spirit box communication. And if you go to the Supernatural Link page, there's a whole listing of his recordings, and he's been doing this he's another guy that's been doing it forever. And he has explanations for everything that anybody that's in this field that tries to do a good job in it should pay attention to, or at least just read through it.
Yeah.
Grab whatever you can grab for yourself. Leave everything else behind, because it's that vitally important.
Right. Yeah. Let me see. I agree. Spirits can massacre. Sorry, reading comments again here. But yeah, if you guys out there, if you have any comments, to ask Greg, well, we got him on here tonight, please don't be afraid or shy out there. Definitely send your questions and comments, and he will try to address anything you guys have out there. So
you don't even have to worry about owing me a beer or anything, because I don't drink.
There you go, guys.
So you got a freebie.
Yeah. 3 questions for Greg.
That's pretty wild. You know, that's absolutely amazing that you came up with that for your first box.
This?
I am jealous.
Yeah, I know.
I am really. I think everybody around's jealous. You better guard that.
The only issue that I have with it is it's not loud enough. That's the only issue that I have with it, which can be resolved with like a speaker and an aux cord.
Yeah, that's all we need.
But whenever I do just last minute late night investigations, like Jason and I usually do, I grab anything I can, and then I'm out the door.
You know, they've got different ones too. They have rechargeable ones now that you could get for that.
Yeah.
Besides that one with the little foam top that, you know, you put it on charge and then you turn it on and it glows a little bit blue.
Yeah.
That thing is, you know, there's one that lights up and everything that comes across really, really good. I don't know where I got it.
Here's a question real quick from Jennifer Baker. Do you believe in spirits being good or evil?
I believe all spirits are good. There's just some that aren't as good as others.
Right.
They could have a hang up. They could have an issue that they've been carrying with them since the day they died that they're not willing to give up on. They could have a how could you say, a grudge on somebody or something. What's she looking at?
I don't know. What's wrong with you over there, Sophie? I'm scared to ask.
My cat just threw up. She's eating her own vomit.
That's gross.
What happened?
My cat just threw up and she's eating her own vomit.
Oh.
Well, whatever turns you on.
I knew she was looking like she was like didn't know what to do right now.
Just don't let her lick you when she gets done.
Stop it! Stop!
Sophie's turning emotional now.
I don't know.
What did the cat eat? What did the cat eat?
I don't know. Maybe the cat heard us talking about evil spirits.
She's just fat and she eats too fast.
Oh boy!
And so she eats so fast that she vomits.
And did you sit down and talk to her about that?
You know, Greg, I've tried.
I'm sorry, guys. You never know what's going to happen here in the Crawford County Ghost Hunters live talk.
Jan Newland said, "What has been your most disastrous and your most fun investigation so far?"
Oh, this one? Yeah.
Depends on what you consider to be disastrous. If I don't bring all my gear, that's disastrous. Because if you're not in the right frame of mind, everything has to be in tune for them to even want to cooperate with you. You have to be in the right frame of mind. You have to have the right vibe. You have to have the right energy. And if you don't, and if you got cat vomit on the floor, you're really in trouble.
I'm trying not to look at like her right now because I'm going to start laughing.
I feel, Sophie, I feel sorry for you. How many cats do you have?
It's so fresh in my mind.
Yeah,
some things you just can't unsee.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make a joke out about it when I finished answering that question. I apologize.
It was pretty funny though.
But that's exactly where you have to be. And I don't like to change it. If I do get in a rotten mood or anything like that, I don't need to be anywhere near an investigation. Period.
Right. Yeah.
I
need, you know, if it's local especially, I'll just go home.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than go ahead and go in and give some, how could you say, gives one of the spirits that not necessarily is a good spirit, or he's having a lousy time, an opportunity to come back at me.
Yeah.
And that can happen too. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, to be along as long around as I have been, or be around as long, with the things that I've done in my life and the places I've been.
Yeah.
And, you know, the veteran business and the VA now, and the guys that are, you know, and to be able to do what I do.
Right.
I feel I'm blessed, period.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I could put it. I just, you know, I've been blessed with a bunch of investigators that are around me in both groups.
Yeah, that's good.
That are really talented people that put their heart into it, you know.
I feel like when you go investigating with people, you have to find a good group of people, or like what you said, your heart's not going to be it. You're not going to be in it. Like I don't like investigating with people who aren't into it. You know what I'm saying? Who aren't interested in it. And though like skeptics, you know, they can be fun to investigate with. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I feel like if they're not open to trying to find anything, you know, if they're not open to it, if their heart's not also into it, like, hey, maybe this could change my mind, you know, that could, you know, be, you know, that could be fun. But people who aren't, you know, into it, or even, you know, I've seen ghost hunters be like, you know, completely into it, or not complete, but like completely believe in them, not just be into it, you know. And so like, I just try to avoid like people who kind of come in there with like a closed mind, or, you know, people who don't bring out the best in me.
Right. And you're bringing the best out in the spirits too at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know,
when you're comfortable, when you're with a good group of people, I've also noticed when you're like, you know, shooting shots and everything, and, you know, just like clowning around, just goofing around, that can bring out a lot of activity sometimes.
Making fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas always played music down in
we've tried that a lot too. Yeah.
Peoria. One believe it or not, one guy that he played a lot of was Prince.
Oh yeah.
That
we play a lot of Michael Jackson at Pine Lawn.
I feel like a lot of people can get into Prince or Michael Jackson, like no matter who you are.
I think what I was trying to say before too on that question again about good and bad in that.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason knows this as well. If you or I went into Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary with a bummed out attitude, what do you think would have happened to us there?
Who knows, but probably nothing good. Probably not. I don't know. Probably not good things.
That place had some crazy energy in it.
Oh yeah, especially like the D block area, I think it was.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's where I heard like a door slam and stuff, and there was like no one there, and the doors were actually welded shut. And I caught a residual sound of a door slamming on a recorder, and I still have no explanation for that to this day there at Brushy Mountain. I mean, that was a pretty good place I'd like to return to sometime. I mean, we got some decent activity, and there was still another thing I can't. Did I ever tell you what happened to me there that I still can't really explain? Like it still weirds me out a little bit. I was outside D block, the big, you know, that was where they held the worst criminals, you know, that D block area.
Yes.
I was outside there, just kind of walking around in the courtyard. It was after I heard the door slam. I was trying to debunk that, see if anybody was out there. It was just me. I was out there by myself, and I heard these like almost these alarms start going off, like they were playing something over a speaker, like almost as if somebody would like do something wrong, or they had somebody escaping or something, kind of like
up in the tower.
The tower. Like a tower alarm going off, kind of like, you know, like this big, huge sound. And like, I thought that like the guides were playing it over the speakers or something, and I went and I asked people, I go, did you guys hear that? Did anybody hear that? And like nobody knew what I was talking about. And like apparently I'm the only one that heard it. And
they gave that to you.
yeah. And like still to this day, I can't explain it because I asked the guides there too. I was like, you guys didn't set anything off over the speakers or some type of towers or anything and make it sound like some alarm was going off or anything. And they're like, no. And it happened to me while I was in the courtyard, like somebody was escaping or something and they were sounding an alarm. And like nobody else heard it. Like I still can't figure that out. It was so weird, so loud.
That courtyard was too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they had that big post where they put the guy up there and just beat him to death.
Yeah, yeah. I remember too. I think that was the same place. I believe it was Brushy Mountain where they told us to watch out for rattlesnakes while we're walking across there too, because I think there's rattlesnakes in the courtyard.
Yeah,
and that was in the same area. That always stuck in my mind too, because it's like, well, this is the first looking for rattlesnakes.
Well, you should be familiar with them down by you, right?
Yeah, we have a few timber rattlers and stuff down in Shawnee, like down in Shawnee National Forest and stuff, but not like they said they were. They were acting like they were like every 3 feet or something in that prison. I was like,
you ever seen a rattler with a head about that big?
I've seen some big ones. I don't know about that.
He had 13 rattle chambers.
Oh wow! Yeah,
the rattle chamber was about this long.
Yeah, yeah.
And a friend of mine, we were fishing on Kincaid, and he went up by the big rocks, big granite rocks up on the shore, and he ran into it, brought it back to the boat, had it in his hand, and I'm going, oh God. And he shows the fangs on the damn thing were like 3/4 of an inch long.
Oh wow. That's pretty big.
That was huge.
Yeah, that's why I was looking around out there at night, at Brushy Mountain there, because they said they were everywhere. But here's Diana again, Greg. She was wanting you to clarify something, I think. Did Greg say a minute ago that all spirits are good spirits? Maybe I misunderstood.
That's a hard thing to label.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, it's attitude. It's your attitude. It's their attitude. It's how you present it. It's the energy in the room. If they don't feel good, they can become I wouldn't consider them to be bad. They all had attitudes and then you would say that's bad, so, in that respect, but there are ones that like to cause trouble, but that's because you're in their space. You're doing something wrong,
Yeah.
I don't think there's very many of them. If you get into in the European side, I think you would have more of an opportunity to see something like that just because of the predicaments that people died under.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And my whole thing too, like you're saying, they're just people without bodies. You have good people, you have bad people. You got people that can be considered evil. Yeah, people themselves do evil things. It's just like, that's how I kind of look at them. It just depends on the person you're dealing with after death, whether they were a mass murderer or you're dealing with somebody like that, or, somebody that, had a nice life, didn't do anything type thing. It's just the way they present themselves, I think. And I think,
go ahead.
I think a lot of it too, the perception of paranormal research and ghosts and spirits that people have is from a religious point of view too. I don't like to get into that, but it's like how they were brought up in the church, or if they were brought up in the Catholic Church, that type of thing, and whether things are labeled evil, demonic, black. Things are always evil and demonic. It seems like the shadow people. Some people think those are evil just because they're shadows, but I don't think so. I just think it's the way you look at it, and a lot of it comes from a religious point of view.
The other night, Nicholas had that James Anito and the two brothers. The one brother is a demonologist. I can't think of his name right now. but James Anito works with this other guy that was on Ghost Hunters from the beginning. First time they did anything on with a demon or a nasty spirit or whatever. And James Anito is a demonologist.
Right.
And he's got quite a career. And he was even talking, and the one brother, if somebody's there and knows what the guy's name is, if you could put it up there, it's driving me crazy. But it's the point that I'm making is he's been working at it for over 30 years. And out of the 30 years, there's been 5 instances where they actually came to the conclusion that it was that category.
Like
out of hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of cases.
Right.
So I mean, right then and there, that would, you got to run into the prince himself to go ahead and and then your pants are going to be set on fire anyway, so you ain't going to want to find out any more about them.
Right. Yeah.
That's an entirely different subject.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I'm sorry about that, Diane. I hope that explained the situation. It's hard to put a label on any of them.
It really is, yeah.
To me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's a lot of people in the field that feel the same way. Because then when you label them, I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that goes around labeling my friends.
Right.
So why would you label ghosts? Or spirits?
Exactly.
And
I when it comes to the whole demon thing, when it comes to demonology and everything, I believe that demons do root what could be from the devil. I'm not going to speak from because I don't know. None of us truly know. But what we have in our minds is the idea that the devil is bad, when there's a side of his story that and like I said, this isn't really quite really. It's religious, but at the same time, not I'm not trying to turn it religious. But anyways, so why? Okay, so I have a question. Why was the devil? And this is kind of like a question that I know the answer to already. But why was the devil kicked out of heaven? Why did the devil and God not get along?
He wanted the power.
Well, because he loved mankind. That's the version that I've heard. He loved mankind. That he loved mankind. And that was the version that I've heard, that was the version that I've heard. And so to me, demons and the devil aren't exactly the bad guys here, like what every religion really portrays.
Yeah. Yeah, it just depends on how you look at that story. Like you're saying, the story of Lucifer, I mean, he supposedly helped mankind versus the opposite of what people think, and they got the nickname of the devil. I mean, the whole devil thing was pretty much made up by the churches too when it came along, because there was a thing called Dante's Inferno, and that really fired up the whole image and persona of the devil.
Well, just look at a couple pictures from that, and it's such a straight.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this modern day concept of the devil that people have, and the concept of evil, like she's saying. I think it's like, I guess it's just what you think personally is evil.
So do you know this Joshua Dixon?
What's that?
You know this guy Joshua Dixon?
Yeah.
He says he lives in the woods. I'm not talking Miami.
Yeah, I read that. I'm not sure.
Got to be careful walking at night in Florida.
You live in Florida, Joshua? Is that where you're at?
When you're isolated, it can bring out negative energies too. Well, that would depend on yourself too at the same time.
Oh, yeah, this comment right here. Yeah, when you're isolated, it can bring out negative energies.
Because you start.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
Because you start doubting yourself. Is that what you're getting to? So you're
Or
starting
you
to
may be
deal
subconsciously
negatively.
afraid.
It ain't gonna eat you, you know. It ain't gonna run because they're probably faster than me.
I know I don't want to be alone just yet in like buildings or anything because I know I'm still subconsciously afraid because it's still taboo for me because I've only been doing this for 2.5 months now.
Yeah.
So I know if I were to be in a room alone and, they would probably be like, oh, she's scared. And they would probably either not communicate with me because I'm scared or, they'd probably be like, oh, she's scared.
Have you, Jason, have you ever told Sophie the story about the challenge that we did at Mansfield?
I don't think so.
Are you talking about the one where you put people in body bags and told them to
No.
Or you were thinking about doing that? I'm not going to spoil it.
No, this was a different deal they had us do when we were there. They basically made us walk, what was it, the top tier? Is that what it was?
It was the third level, and there's 5 or 6 levels.
Yeah.
But it came right out of the library, and you went down a ramp, and then you had to walk around the whole outside of the whole cell block and do the whole thing and come back, and it's totally pitch black. The farther you would leave from where you came out of, the darker it got. And I didn't think that dark could get that dark.
It was dark. Yeah.
And I was like the second one. And all I had with me was my little voice recorder, and I had it down to the side behind me. Just basically because on the outside, all you had were these metal rods and there was a steel cable. And that's all that kept you from going over the side.
Yeah.
And on this side was the cell blocks or the cells. And I had my arm up like this on the inside because I was waiting for somebody to just jump out.
Yeah. I was waiting for something to jump out too.
And about halfway down, I started hearing steps. Somebody was walking footsteps. I could hear them behind me walking. And then I would stop and they would stop. I'd start walking again. And then we got down to the corner. I went to go around the corner and somebody reached out and grabbed my butt cheek.
Yeah.
And I just started moving really fast then. And then I said, you're going to go right over the railing. So I had to stop down and I came back and I got back inside. And there was one other person that got grabbed that way. And the reason that we got grabbed at that corner was because all the people that were, they weren't heteros. They kept them all in one section there, and we had to walk by that, and that's why I got grabbed.
Yeah, because what it was, Sophie, they issued us this challenge thing for the groups and whatever, and it was the guys that told us to do this. Like he said, it was in the complete darkness. We had to do this. We had to go clear around the whole cell block, like he's saying, there's just this little bitty walkway. And you got cell blocks on each side. Like they wouldn't let you take a flashlight. I think I'm the only one in my group that completed it. And then you and Dale done it, didn't you?
I did it. The girl did it first, and that was Jeannie Chilton's sister, who had the little skimpy shorts on and everything.
Yeah.
And it was like, I said, and she got up. I said, well, I'll do it. He says, okay. And then she pops up and she goes, hey, let me do it first.
Yeah.
I said, okay. I'll do my best.
Right.
If you come back, then I'm going to go.
Right.
If you don't come back,
I'll tell you what, when I got toward the end, I was walking a little faster. I'll tell you that. Like when I got down toward the very end of it, because I heard stuff too, and it was more the mental imagery I was getting when I was walking through there. Underneath it, I just kept, imagining these hands coming out of these cells at me in the dark, as I was walking through there. And it was pretty freaky actually to do it. But I don't think anybody else in my group even done it.
That one of the pareidolia that I have where I was filming down on the east cell block, shooting down towards that shower room area.
Right.
And it was sitting there for 3 hours. I was shooting. And then when I went through the tape, I had a head sticking between the bars and his hands were hanging out like this.
Yeah.
And he would go like this and he would just go. His head would just move. And the Supreme Allied Commander went ahead and said that was pareidolia.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I said, okay, I'll go along with that, but it's still mine. And this is what I think it is.
Right.
And
right.
It's up to the interpretation, but it's I would walk all the way down to that end down there to check my camera all by myself through that whole cell block down there. And somebody was throwing pebbles down from above.
I heard that too. It's at one point at Mansfield. I heard what sounded like something dropping from above, but I was down below. But I think it could have been birds or bats or something, maybe hitting something, dropping something. I don't know, but I know what you're talking about with that sound of like pebbles falling, because I heard that several times there.
The other cell block on the other side, on the west cell block, that's the one where they had built, and there were different designs on the cells, and you remember that?
Yeah.
Compared to the east, because the east was all bars.
I do remember that. Yes. Yep.
And that looked like when I took a picture of it right before dark, and I shot up like this. Yeah. It was 6 tiers tall, 6 levels, and it looked like something right out of Alien.
Yeah. Here's this is weird, Greg. I was just talking about Randy earlier.
Randy's here.
Yeah, going to try to have him on sometime maybe. But yeah, Randy says there's a school of thought that some of the more negative entities feed off of fear and try to frighten people to generate a food source. I suspect there might be some degree of truth to that, and that the case perhaps we should try not to be scared when we encounter weird stuff. I know easier said than done.
Well,
yeah, that's a good.
I agree with him.
Yeah, Sophie's pointing at yourself there.
I'm pointing at him because it's true. I really do believe that it is true. I believe that it is true. I believe that if you show this fear, if you give a certain level of fear, they will feed off of you. And though they won't scare them away sometimes, I believe that sometimes they do feed off of it. And that's why I feel like a lot of people come out exhausted, like absolutely more than usual exhausted after an investigation, just like because they're afraid. Because there's something in there that's afraid.
That's where your paranormal hangover comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just suck you out.
My first few times, especially, so my first few times investigating, and you can even ask Jason, my first live investigation, I was crying. I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted, and I was freaking out. I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was genuinely going insane. Mm-hmm. Like there was something I felt like, and me and my husband, we went out to the car because I needed to be out of there for a second because I just needed to collect myself and figure out what was happening. Because once the cameras turned off, that's when reality hit me like a freight train. That's when everything just hit me and just immediately. And so like I said, I go out and I'm asking my husband, I'm like, listen, I know you're a skeptic, but am I crazy? Do I sound crazy right now? Like, am I going insane? And he was just like, no, you sound pretty coherent to me. And so I was not okay.
Just stand your ground.
Yeah.
I did for the rest of the night. I tried my best.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Randy, I'm glad you're here. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, thanks for watching, Randy.
I really enjoy him. I should do the same thing you just said earlier. But he probably ripped me a new one.
About fear in the human mind, though, it seems to invoke into like I could be scared, or if somebody else is scared, it kind of feeds each other too. I've noticed with fear, and that's something you got to be extremely careful with investigations. Also, is like kind of keeping that fear factor down, because like And it's a psychological thing too. We're in these scary, creepy looking places. Once somebody gets scared, then it sort of breeds onto everybody, or kind of releases to everyone else there, and it's kind of like this big, almost like effect of
we were in
freaking out.
We were in Thornhaven Manor, down in the basement, and we had an SLS camera going, and it was shooting up the staircase, and we had one of the stick figures was coming down the stairs, and all of a sudden the girls let out this big scream. I could have gone ahead and hit my head on it, and I'm a short guy. I could hit my head on the floor joists up above,
right?
Because a bat flew through, and right away you could feel how everything changed.
Yeah.
And it was energy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's where you're setting yourself up, because if you go in, or you're not feeling good, or you don't feel right, that's why you do need to get outside and bring yourself back together again to get the energy back.
Right. And energy is something we studied with Piedmont Manor also, because Piedmont Manor, to me, I think is the most haunted place I've ever seen. As always, I've talked about it 100 times. We're getting like teleportation or apportation of objects in there, where objects are coming out of nowhere. They're coming from places, empty hallways, empty rooms. They're flying down there. And it's like, we've noticed that the group of people that come in there where that most of the time that happens with, it's a group of ladies, and their energy is just so high, and like they almost know it's going to happen around them, and it's like their energy. And they're also that place was a home for the mentally disabled, and the group of ladies that this happens to most frequently also work at homes for the mentally disabled in their normal jobs. So it seems to know that and center around these individuals. When they're in there, they get the most activity in there versus, if we bring a separate group of people in there that weren't associated with helping the mentally disabled. It's really weird. I mean, I've done studies on it and tried to figure out, what type of mindset it takes to produce these objects, and why these objects only get produced on certain times of the year with certain groups of people. It has absolutely something to do with the mindset of the people. I'm telling you, the energy that these people put out, it's odd. That place, like, it's taught me so much as far as like, the way ghosts interact with people. I mean, they know who you are. They listen to you. They somebody will say my name on one end of the hallway, or throw a marble at Snyder down on the other end of the building, and I'll get a marble thrown at me. I mean, so they're listening to everything you say. It's extremely weird. But yeah, there's a lot of energy involved, and especially, the human mind. I've gone into thinking, are we creating these marbles? Are we actually causing some type of energy to, transport these objects through time and space ourselves, or is it an actual ghost and spirit doing it? I don't know. Maybe we're creating the whole phenomenon ourselves, but many people witness it's the problem, and it's a crazy place. But
you see what that Josh said now?
I'm trying to go back to him.
Do you believe in aliens?
Oh, do you all believe in aliens?
Well,
I do. I personally
if you believe in spirits. They could be aliens too. We don't know.
Yeah, I definitely believe there's something out there other than us. Whether you call them aliens, interdimensional beings, whatever you wish to call them, there's definitely something beyond us. I mean,
you go to the two books, or go to the two movies. One of them's called Unacknowledged, and the other one was Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and that's Dr. Stephen Greer, and he has a group now of people that go out in the desert and meditate, and actually call them in.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're actually trying to make contact.
Oh, they've made contact.
Yeah. Big claims, yeah.
And you know what? The figure that they used that came down, and I don't know if they reproduced this or this is something, it's too sensational.
Right.
You know what I mean? To represent, supposedly it was an alien, but it would be the same representation of an opaque spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You always, and an opaque spirit, you always have that association with those little white sparks of light.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I've captured that at Elgin Casket.
Mm-hmm.
I had two different pictures of energy that was going out like that, and it was these little they were like fireflies,
Right.
or it was like a flare that you'd shoot off, and they were coming down like this,
Right.
like they were gonna manifest.
Yeah. You got that through photography, or how'd you capture that?
Like photograph.
Photograph? Yeah.
IR.
Oh,
Nothing was there. Nothing was there. The whole
Right.
entire. There was a casket on top of a cement wall here,
Yeah.
and I was just shooting down towards the end because it just had a neat feeling to it.
Yeah. I've captured some weird stuff. At Williamsburg Hill with like fireworks shooting down. That's one of the only videos I can explain like probably about 98% of photography and orbs and all this stuff on film and video. I mean, it's just like, but there was one time at Williamsburg Hill, we captured what looked like, it almost looked like bottle rockets shooting straight down and like it was in formation. And we posted it up on the site, years ago. I still have not been able to explain what caused that. It was not bugs. It was not, definitely not dust particles flying in formation like that. Just very weird, like just a burst of energy, almost like a firework. Like I'm saying, just shooting down, and like obviously there were no fireworks there, but it was on IR video, and I still cannot explain that capture, but I don't know. I'm pretty good at saying,
Didn't you have that one in the cemetery that came out of the top of the tombstone? It was like a little green firelight. Was that yours?
Probably. I probably debunked that though. I did have one years ago. It was like that, but I probably debunked that one as being a house light in the background, and like I think we were shooting with 35 millimeter cameras when that was captured, and it was caused from the slow shutter speed of the camera and the light source in the background. I think if it's the same one I'm thinking of, but we've got a lot of strange photographs over the years. But like I've tried to go back and debunk most of them, and I can debunk most of them now because it's like I don't know. There's not very many pictures that I say is paranormal. I mean, I'm just
any slight movement you're shooting at night, and you have that shutter wide open.
Yeah, for sure.
You can pick up all sorts of different things on it.
Yeah. Light sources show up in weird ways at night. I mean, especially with these cameras. I mean, they look like trails, and people think they're paranormal, and they are not.
I like using the 35 millimeter cameras.
Yeah.
I got those pictures developed, by the way.
Did you? Did you get anything?
I don't know.
We'll have to look at them for you.
You got them developed. Why don't you put them on your computer?
It was a disposable camera.
Oh. That's cool to do that.
Yeah, not many people are doing 35 millimeter anymore. I mean, it's all digital and stuff. So it's like we try to experiment with the old ways too. It's what we were going back to that one day. And she got a Polaroid. We were even using Polaroid trying to capture stuff one night.
That is cool too. But like when you see them on TV and they shoot like 15 pictures in a row.
Yeah.
It's like how much did that cost?
Right.
That's how it felt with my 35 millimeter. I was just like, every time I took a snap, I was like, oh, I hope that was a good one.
Here's something from Becky I missed a while ago. I don't think we read that one, did we? You're sensitive to energy. It is possible to pick up and absorb the emotions of the spirits present. I had that happen when I first started with the group till I realized it wasn't my emotions to feel.
I just got goosebumps Rebecca.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Yeah, you can do that pretty easy just by sitting down and taking everything in, I think, when you first get to a location.
Yeah, Gettysburg was bad for me about that. Like, I know I was having emotions that weren't mine. Just like I was feeling things, sensing things, even having flashes of stuff. I know it was not my own emotions. But what's that?
I personally, not that I completely enjoy it, though it does kind of freak me out sometimes. After an investigation, and I feel as if I've felt somebody's emotions, it does make me feel a little better and a little rewarded, because the fact that something was able to channel through me and I was able to feel what they're feeling and empathize with them better and better, like thoroughly better understand them and what they're feeling and what they're going through. I feel like that's really important to me. And the biggest reason why I do this is because I can't imagine, being behind this veil that nobody can see me. And that lonesome feeling, like how lonely that must get sometimes, And so that's a big reason why I do this, is to feel their feelings and to communicate with them and to tell them, hey, I'm not going to forget you and you're not forgotten.
Just as long as you keep it at the feel stage and you don't absorb it.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just throwing that out there. I'm saying it for myself because, then you get overwhelmed. And then that's what causes all the other issues that come into play and just changes your energy like that. Because that's so important.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Trying to look back through the questions.
I mean, my first investigation ever was at Methodist Village, and I remember about 10 minutes in, I was being circled around I was being circled by the group because I was having an anxiety attack out of just completely nowhere. Out of nowhere, I just like dropped down and had the biggest anxiety attack. And I remember it didn't feel great. It didn't feel great. And then Jason later was just like, hey, sometimes that happens when you investigate. I was like, that's cool. So I'm going to get on some anxiety medication real quick.
Back in the day with the guys that would be in the groups, that the AA groups that would be around, the new guys would come into the group and they would talk amongst themselves about the new guy and say, who's going to get the pigeon? And that's exactly what happened that night. Is they felt you and you were the pigeon.
Probably.
So that energy came to you.
Yeah.
Whether it's bad or good energy, and you interpret it and it's not yours. And I'm like everybody else. I'm no different than anybody that's in these comments or anything else. I'm no different. I'm the same. We all go through this stuff the same way. If you get up and you ride the horse and you fall off, you got to get back on and ride them again. But that's the dumbest thing I said all night, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, sorry, I'm hearing somebody talking in here.
Yeah, they're coming to get you, Jason. I told you
so.
They absolutely are.
I didn't tell them to go over there by you. Okay?
Yeah, I'm hearing something. I don't know what that was, but
there was this one night Jason and I were on video chat with each other, and we were talking about future investigations, and I lit this candle real quick, right? And this candle, the side of it just broke, just shattered off, and just flew off. And Jason was on camera, and then like when that happened, about a second later, Jason's camera unfocused, and it got really white for a second, and you could just see like his eyes. That was freaky, because I was just telling, because I felt like something had followed me home, and so I was just like, hey, if anything followed me home, you're not welcomed here. I'm sorry, you have to go back. And then Jason said, he was just like, what if you brought it here? And then boom, his light just
Yeah, it was weird. And that candle blowing up, I don't understand that. I mean, her candle just exploded.
You guys do prayers before you go in?
No, I don't anyway.
No.
I'm not. I guess
check out St. Michael. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Scotty shows this little thing where he'll go ahead when you get off the perimeter of the building, he will actually go out and pick up like a pebble,
right?
And he'll put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
And when he comes back out after the prayers and you go in and make your investigation, you come back out, he'll take the pebble back out of his pocket and say, "This is where you have to stay."
Right.
And literally throws the pebble back on the ground.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. I'm not too much into the whole, like, I guess more spiritual part of it than religious for sure.
Well, you know, I'm not saying religious. I'm just saying,
yeah.
Because it's like, as well as I do, if there's a flak jacket that he had, are you going to wear it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't need a flak jacket.
Because, she carries crystals and stuff, and she gave me a couple on the last one, and it was just like, yeah. Still got a couple of her crystals in my pocket.
I gave them to him because I told him one night we were at Pinemont, I was just like, Jason, I'm getting tired. And he was just like, I was just like, you're going to come back here, aren't you? All alone. And he was like,
probably.
So like, keep this.
Yeah. I probably need all the help.
They really like Jason.
I need all the help I can get.
I don't think any religion really comes into this, but everybody knows about St. Michael.
Right. Yeah.
He's one of the angels.
For sure. Yeah.
And if you don't believe, you don't have to believe in religion, but you should believe in the angels.
Yeah.
I believe in angels.
They're just like the spirits.
Right.
Yeah, Becky, I learned that from you. She said, I usually tell the spirits they have to stay there when I leave any place. I learned that from Becky. That's the reason why I said, hey, stay here.
Yeah.
Don't follow me home. Sometimes they have free will, so sometimes I think they will anyways. But, at least I set that boundary there, and I'm just like, hey, don't do it. They're like, oh, but I really like you. Or, oh, I don't know. I want to see what life is like for you, Because if I was a spirit, I'd be like, I'd probably be one of those that was just like, I want to see what Jason does. From the time he wakes up, like, what do Jasons do? You know what I'm saying? Or like, what do
Oh, gee, Jason, what do you do?
I can't tell you. It's top secret.
Jason wakes up, goes straight to his ghost box.
You don't want to see what I do on a daily basis.
The lights are on, but nobody's home, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knock on the door. All you see is that little hole in the blinds. Oh boy.
Look over there, Sophie, and her cat's puking on the floor.
Oh God. I'm sorry I saw that like that. You looked like you were breaking up. I didn't know what was happening to you.
I didn't either.
She threw up right in front of me. She just and then she sat there for a second because I just saw her do it, and that's when I got even more mortified is when she was starting to eat it.
Yeah, she says, well, just don't look. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up right away. You won't even know what happened. It's a magic trick.
Because I didn't know what to do in that moment because I'm on camera, and so it's just like, do I clean up my cat's vomit while I'm live on the talk show?
Gonna hold up a sign. Gonna hold up a little sign.
Be like, the quick little interruption. My cat threw up and is eating its own vomit because for some reason she's that hungry.
It's a technical difficulty. Cat vomit. Cat vomit.
Well, you know how cats do before they throw up? They arch their back, It's kind of funny.
That was messed up.
The way they look.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening. And
Well, let's see how everything goes down the road here, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Couple months, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get you guys over on the north side.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we need to come your way, or you need to come our way, Greg. One or the other.
I mean on the show too.
Oh, on the show? Yeah.
On my show.
Okay, sounds good. So, yeah, that'd be cool.
There's a lot of there's been so much going on. I know you've done a hell of a lot of episodes, haven't you?
Yeah, we've done a lot of episodes, a lot of investigations. I'd be doing some more if like I say, I got to get over my quarantine here for COVID. Once I'm pretty much done, so I should be good for maybe this weekend. Probably gonna do some live feeds this weekend or next weekend for sure. So
cemeteries are awaiting you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll tell you what, just sitting in the house was driving me nuts. Like, I'm ready to get out and do something.
Maybe doing a spirit box session in your bathroom one.
It may come to that. I don't know.
I was almost on the verge, actually, the other night. I was almost on the verge of doing a spirit box session in my house, and I was just like,
no.
No.
I do it all the time.
There's a lot of people, a lot of the older people, like Jeff Resman and the guys that first started it out, they do that. And
I do it in my house.
I won't.
Yeah, I do it in my house all the time.
If I was here by myself, that would be one thing. But when the kids come.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Greg, I think we're gonna wrap this one up.
It's been a great show. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it has. I appreciate you coming on. I always have fun when you're on the show, and we'll definitely have you on again, and hopefully we can meet up here in the near future and do some more investigations.
I hope so.
And we'll get up your way, or you can come down this way, one or the other.
Are you going to be doing anything over in Alton?
I don't have anything planned.
Are you going to do his conference?
Whose conference? It's not Troy Taylor's, is it?
Yeah.
Is it Troy's?
Yeah.
I probably won't be at that one. I don't know.
No, I just curious. I don't know. It's. I want to see the other side too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would be something. Kathy's been there. Michael's been there. That kind of thing, and that'd be interesting. And now that it would be neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to it several times. I just haven't been lately. But I don't know if I'll be over there or not. But I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated.
Okay.
And heck, maybe we'll run into each other somewhere. I don't know where, but.
Well, I'll pay attention to everything you're doing on your show and that. Okay. That's always neat to watch. And
yeah.
Now you got a hostess.
Right. Yeah, I don't sit here and talk to myself anymore.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and you got a great audience too. So you got a lot of people.
Yeah, we have a really good audience. I love our our fans are cool, and like I say, they've helped us on live investigations find stuff that we didn't catch. I mean, that's why we like to go live too. They're always watching. They're like our eyes and ears out there, and they catch stuff we don't sometimes. It's cool. Yeah, we got a good audience and good people watching our show for sure. So
that's for sure. Thank you everybody for letting me come on. That's for sure.
Yeah,
great people.
Yeah, thank you, Greg, for coming on.
Okay,
and
Sophie, Jason.
Yep, I will see you on the next one, Greg.
Okay, we'll see you guys.
Take care of yourself.
Okay, have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Bye, Sophie. Bye, Jason.
See ya.
Okay.
All right, guys, that was Greg Koss, and he was our special guest tonight with me and Sophie here on the Crawford County Ghost Hunters live talk show. Again, this was episode number 50. We're going to wrap this one up tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a fun night talking about Greg and catching up with him. He's investigated with me several times at several different locations across the United States, from Brushy Mountain Penitentiary to, I don't even know where all we've been, Penhurst, or Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. We've been all over the place. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And we're probably going to maybe do some investigations this weekend. Like I say, if you guys missed the beginning of the show, I do have COVID currently. I am toward the end of my quarantine period, though, so I'm doing good and probably going to.
I don't have COVID.
Yeah, somehow Sophie did not get COVID, and everybody else has got COVID. James has got COVID. Courtney's got COVID, but she's all right. It's those dang crystals you carry. They're anti-COVID crystals.
It's my anti-COVID crystals, Jason.
I know. But I think her cat has COVID, so she better mop that up when we get done. But you better watch that cat. But
it sucks. It's the cat. It's the cat that sucks.
Yeah.
We have 3 cats here right now, and this one, all she does is throw up and attack my cat.
All right. Yeah, I think I'd be getting rid of that one. But no, thank you guys for watching tonight. It's been a good show. We're gonna go live maybe this weekend or next weekend for sure. And we're going to start having some special guests on the show frequently too. Again, it's the first and third Monday of every month. So we will catch you on our next live talk show. We're Paranormal Investigation, guys. Thanks for watching and tuning in tonight. Have a good evening
guys.
out there. Mm-hmm.